Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good
morning, Don.
This is Don Burns with I Am Lakeland. I have David Thorton with a Better Choice Solutions and Alex Kreilich from Kreilich Creations. And I want to thank Coach for letting me use this room. Let's just start and see how we can get you guys some business. David, tell me, what is a Better Choice Solutions?
So a Better Choice Network Solutions.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yeah, a Better Choice Network Solutions is a full service IT, cybersecurity, and VoIP company. We started our business in 2015 in Brandon. And you know, my original model was, hey, I want to stay within 30 minutes of drive time, because if a client has a computer problem, they don't want to have to wait hours to get an IT technician on site. And that was great, it worked great. My entire clientele was built around that 30-minute time frame. So Brandon, Tampa, all that area. And then 2 years ago, my wife and I bought a house in North Lakeland. So now now it's a drive.
Now it's a drive.
So I do have other technicians now, and we're spread out across Tampa Bay, Brandon, and of course I'm in Lakeland. And so we now we're trying to build out, the Polk County clientele better. And ironically, my first client was from Winter Haven, and I grew up in Auburndale, so it's coming home to Polk County anyway.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
That's real good. And what did you do before you did a Better Choice Solutions, Network Solutions?
I was in law enforcement for 26 years.
26?
26 years, yeah. I was, for 6 of those years, I was a civilian. I started at 19 years old as a dispatcher for Temple Terrace Police Department. My entire service was with that agency. And I retired 2 weeks prior to starting my business in 2015. During that time frame, I did everything. I was, from beginning as a dispatcher to community service officer, which is like a non-sworn position, to patrol. I did patrol for many years. I was a detective undercover for 15 months. Supervisor for about 10 years, and then,
like 26 years isn't enough.
26 years is plenty of time, and when I say a better choice, a lot of people think, oh, he's being arrogant, and it's really not that. This is a better choice for me than being 50-something years old and chasing 15-year-olds around.
I can't imagine.
The neighborhood. But I don't get me wrong, I loved my career there. I love my career now. But computers don't shoot at you, so
That's right.
So
That's fantastic. That was at where you said?
Temple Terrace.
Temple Terrace. Temple Terrace.
Mm-hmm. Temple Terrace is a small community, northeast Tampa area, right next to the USF Tampa campus.
Yeah, you might have pulled me over one time. I don't know.
We probably did.
I went to USF for a long time.
Yeah, but if I pulled you over, you'd remember me.
Wonderful. And Alex, tell me what Kreilich Creations is.
Kreilich Creations is a business my wife Elise and I created, mainly like a lot of people did at the pandemic. Get kind of bored at home, you start baking, you start kind of fixing stuff around the house. Eventually there's nothing left to do except, what's your passion project at this point? So my wife and I both were kind of in the arts, kind of as our hobby. My wife did a lot of epoxy work, painting, different things like that. I did a lot of woodworking. My father and grandfather were both woodworkers. So I kind of grew up with knowing kind of what to do, and also being a cheapskate that I am. When my wife wanted a piece of furniture, I'm not going to go spend $1,000 for it. I'm going to build it for like $100.
Wow.
So it really helped to develop kind of that skill set. So we moved to Lakeland in March of 2020. So as you can imagine, we moved to a city.
What timing, huh?
Yeah, exactly. We moved to a city where we didn't know very many people. We could wave at our new neighbors.
From where? Where'd you come from?
So from Davenport.
Oh, okay.
Originally, Winter Haven for a little while too, but then my wife and I met in Memphis. Originally, I'm from Southeast Missouri, a small town called St. Mary. It's actually a village.
Oh, wow.
My wife is from Houma, Louisiana, and then we both ended up going to grad school in Memphis at the same time, which is where we met. So we ended up in Florida. So then when we moved to Lakeland, we kind of were stuck at the house trying to figure out what to do. So we decided to kind of get into our passion projects of me building furniture, her doing kind of her artwork. Our friends and family said, stop buying or stop building stuff for us, basically. So we're like, we still want to do it, so what else can we do? So we started going around to a lot of the local businesses that we liked, such as Descent Brewery, Scout and Tag, a lot of the other places around here that we would frequent, either eating or drinking or whatever else. Noticed that their merchandise selection was pretty low. So we basically were like, what if we made some coasters for you? What if we made some wooden magnets? What if we did a few other things for you to kind of see if that might help, build your brand, build your revenue stream. Our idea was we were so accepted into Lakeland at such a rough time that we wanted to give back as much as we could. So we saw a need, we wanted to fill the need, and through that we can help promote the great city of Lakeland, basically. So now we work with a lot of the local businesses, which from our side it's great because we can basically meet so many great people. There's so many people from Kristen Lugo at Lugo's Craft Distillery, Elizabeth and Jolien Ethos Roasters, all these people that we never would have really seen other than like buy stuff from them at the markets or different things like that, to where now we become good friends with these people, and we find that everybody helps each other. It's kind of like it's a great community of businesses here in Lakeland. It's just a matter of meeting the people, and then you're basically automatic friends with them. So for us to try to help bring all that together by not just helping the businesses in Lakeland, but when people come to visit Lakeland, letting them take part of Lakeland with them to then show other people, wherever they're from, whether it's snowbirds or just people visiting friends and family in Lakeland and going back home, how great of a city Lakeland is. So that's kind of where everything came from.
I agree.
And part of it too is what we've actually found is if it's a small enough business, you're not going to want to buy hundreds or thousands of something. So ours can make like 5 wooden magnets, or for, let's say I Am Lakeland, for example, we're going to be at a farmer's market.
Customer of yours.
Can I buy 10 coasters from you, see how they do? There's no surcharge for a certain amount or whatever else, and especially if you're Lakeland, we're going to give you a good deal, and we can hand deliver. You don't have to worry about postage and other stuff like that. So it really helps to have something local, because if you need more, I can pretty much do it quicker. If you need to change something, we can change it and kind of bring it back out to you. And then again, it's just a matter of, if you're going to do business with me, expect me to be your friend automatically.
There you go.
I'm not just
it's true too.
Yeah, I'm not just going to just say, hey, when's your next purchase? It's like, hey, you want to go grab some coffee? What's going on right now?
Isn't that nice? I find that everywhere in Lakeland. Absolutely, everybody. It's so wonderful. That reminds me how you and I met.
Mm-hmm.
I was at Descent Bar, just thought I'd unwind and have a drink, and here comes Alex and Elise, and they've got their coasters, and I was like, that's kind of neat. What's that? Do you remember this?
I do.
And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. Let me see what you can do. And put in an order, and that's been what, a year ago? It's
probably at least.
And so I get a lot of my merchandise from you guys that you guys engrave and do all that, and our project that we've got working on.
Oh yeah.
That the world will find out here pretty soon, and that should be good.
They're coming soon.
Yeah, we're working on that. David, tell me how you stand out from your other customer. I know network and computers have competition, man.
Yeah.
And you got all these. You were telling me already that you provide personal service when needed, like that.
Yeah, so personal service is very critical to our business. Our clients, like he was mentioning, like Alex was saying, this is a passion project. What we do is waking up in the morning is waking up with a purpose is like critical to your well-being. And a lot of police officers will die within 5 years of retirement. Well, I'm walking out. Yeah, I'm walking out. Well, it's because you're under all this high stress and everything else. You get a little jaded about people, and then you walk in. You're like, I don't want to deal with people anymore. You sit on the couch and you waste away.
Wow.
And so a lot of the reason why I didn't wait to start my business and I didn't take a cruise is because I wanted to make sure that every day I woke up with a purpose. Now, like Alex was saying, I mean, he found a hobby that he loves doing, and now he's found a way to monetize it. And I was thinking back, I was like, I love technology. I mean, when I walked into the police department, they had like a dispatch system where you wrote something down on a card, you slid it into a slot, and the light turned from green to red. The only thing we had that resembled a computer in the room in the dispatch center, which you would think would be high tech, is a terminal in the middle, and you would have to type it, and you send it off to, Florida Crime Information Center, and okay, well, does Don have any warrants today? Well, no, he does not.
Wow. Almost like Morse code.
Right, exactly. And you get it on these like old white, print sheets and stuff. And I'll never forget that dot matrix printer that would just run like crazy.
Oh, I remember the dot matrix. Yeah.
But I was there for their first CAD system that they put in, and I was there for that 26 years. I saw all the different technological jumps when the internet became a thing, and you could see, okay, well now I can actually reach and run this stuff from my car. I don't have to wait, and cell phone technology and how it changed through the years. It was really just something that I thought, wow, this is exciting. I love doing this kind of stuff. And of course I was a gamer and a hobbyist and all that, and I'm a bit of a geek and a nerd, so I was like, oh, this seems like a good gig for me, and I already have the uniform.
There you go. Monetize what you're enjoying.
Yeah, so it was just people say, well, how do you go from being a cop to being an IT guy? And it's like, oh, that's a great question. It just happened naturally. It really did. Before I was in uniform, or before I got out of uniform, I had to sit down with my best friend from second grade, and he's like, another person and I had been kicking this idea around. He heard about it, and he's like, I need an IT guy. I need one now. So we went over there and we looked at his computer, and there was he had an IT guy. But we did a scan of his computer, and there were 2,300 items of malware on his server.
And his other guy couldn't find it?
And his other guy wasn't even responding to him. He wasn't showing up.
Oh, okay.
He would call him, and he's like, he never comes, he never shows up, he never fixes. And, I find that over and over again, that's a problem. Mm-hmm. And maybe we get too busy. Maybe, I don't know what happens, but at some point, if you're paying me a monthly service to take care of your computer, I'm going to take care of your computer. And there, I've seen some clients where they were being charged something like $2,000 a month, and I'm like, well, I'm doing the math, and you come out to be $400 for me, So my passion is finding the solution, making it affordable, and providing a better solution for my clients. And I don't charge you based upon what your business does. I charge you based upon how many, workstations you have. I don't care if you make millions and billions of dollars. That's great. That's good for you. I'm not charging you more than the one guy who's barely can afford to get by, because my passion is more about protecting your data. I don't want anybody to ever have to pay to get their data back from a ransomware, situation. Yeah. So we make it as affordable as we possibly can. IRS says I have to make a little bit of a profit. I've got to be able to pay my guys, But aside from, paying my guys, paying me a little salary, making the IRS happy and staying out of trouble with them, the rest of it is just fun. So I don't have to make a killing on every client.
Well, I remember when I was in college the first time, I was at USF, and my major was MIS. I was an MIS major, and I was learning C and C++.
What is MIS?
Management Information Systems. It's the computer part of when you sit down behind your computer, everything goes on behind the scenes. I mean, everything. From your prompt to everything. And I thought, wow, this is a good industry, man. Well, I found out within a couple semesters, this is not for me. I'm not that geeky. I'm not that. But I did, in the interim, I did a co-op at what was called GT Data Services at the time. Now it's Verizon Services, but it was GT Data Services, and it was all IT, and this was like 95, 96. This is when the internet started taking off.
Right.
And I got to do 2 semesters at GT, and I learned a lot about the networking, a lot about how the phone lines talk to each other, how the towers, and all the packets started coming in, all of the switches started coming in. I was like, this. And then at the end of my second semester, because I was in the professional world, and I just decided this is just too much.
there's a lot to learn, and it's not just what you need to learn to do the job. You have to stay on top of technology, and technology is constantly changing. If I stop learning, I'm dead. I mean, the job, I can't do this job if I decide, hey, tomorrow I just can't read anymore, I can't do any more research, I can't learn what the next new item is or what the next new challenge is. You know, when I started my company in 2015, ransomware actors would charge you $300 if you were to get encrypted your data. And the FBI made the mistake in October, literally like 2 weeks after I started my business, of saying, well, just pay the ransom. Well, okay, as a cop coming out of law enforcement, you look at the people that are doing ransomware. They're not your kid, like the movie War Games way back. I know.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm dating myself.
Or whatever.
Yeah, Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
I know I'm dating myself, but if you look back at War Games, you think, oh, well, it's this kid in mom's basement or in his. No, these are people that are in Eastern Europe. They're in North Korea. They're in Iraq. They're not people that the FBI can touch. So the only thing we can do, the only thing that we in America can do, is to take the money away from them. As long as there is an incentive, as long as they're making money, they're going to continue to attack us. And they're going to continue to do this.
Incentives work, no matter what, it's good or
incentives
bad.
work, yeah. And whether it's $300 or whether it's now it's in the six figures, what they're asking for, because insurance companies now have gotten involved in this, and now they negotiate with their
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
I didn't know that.
Now you have cyber insurance, and I'm not talking bad against any cyber insurance policies or any of that stuff. But now you have cyber insurance, and if you get encrypted, the cyber insurance company has to go call them and say, hey, well, we can't give you that, but we can give you this. They're negotiating with them to pay them. Well, paying them doesn't guarantee you're going to get your data back, right? And paying them doesn't guarantee that you're not going to get infected again. So everything that I do when I walk into a business is sit down with them and say, what we want to do is build your network and teach your employees so that you're never going to have to pay for your data. And if you ever do get in a situation where you get hit with ransomware, then we are going to ask you not to pay for that data. You know, it starts with backup, but there are other things we also incorporate in order to prevent that from happening. So what makes me stand out, to answer your question earlier, what makes me stand out from my other competitors is that everything we do comes from a security standpoint first. Like every single time I touch a client, you know how many times I've walked in to a business and I'm looking and I'm like, antivirus expired. That's not the same antivirus as that one. You know, it's like, hey, you know, I know you had McAfee when you bought this computer, and I know you've had this over a year because it's expired now. You know, you got to have it. At the very least, start with that. Antivirus. But people don't even renew that.
They just put their head in the sand and hope that nothing happens.
They just hope that nothing. And it's human nature. You know, I mean, the most dangerous thing that any one of us did today, the most dangerous thing we did was get behind the wheel of the car and drive here. And so, but we accept that risk. You don't get in the car in the morning and think, oh my God, I hope I don't get into a wreck. You don't even have that thought because you think, hey, it's not going to happen to me. Unfortunately, everyone else thinks the same way about getting on the internet, and then it does happen to them. And then they have to make that really tough decision about, do I pay? Do I get my insurance involved to pay to get my data back and have a chance at getting my data back? Or do I eat it and possibly lose my business? Because for a lot of data-driven businesses, I mean, I'm pretty sure Alex can still probably do his job without data, but not everybody can.
Right.
You know, insurance companies, legal offices, doctors' offices, and stuff. They cannot do business without having that data.
So would you say most people are paying for IT and cyber insurance? As if the IT person's not doing their job, then they expect the cyber insurance to take care of it?
A lot of people will actually start with the cyber insurance, and I tell people, tell people not to start with cyber insurance, start with backup. If you're on a limited budget and you're like, hey, I don't even know where to start with cloud backup. At the very, very least, a cloud backup is going to be able to prevent a lot of the issues, or at least recover from a lot of the issues that you may have. Whether it's a ransomware hack, or whether it's a rogue employee that walks in and says, all right, I'm done with this, I'm going to delete.
Oh, I never thought of that.
I'm going to delete all this data. We can recover from that with backup. So start with that and then move from there. You know, okay, now, when ransomware became a thing, it then evolved because people realized, okay, I don't want to have that. So then they started with backup, right? And then about 2 to 3 years ago, ransomware actors said, okay, we're going to take this data now, we're going to get a copy of it before we encrypt it, and then if you don't pay us, we're going to release this to the public. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of places like financial offices, HIPAA, yeah, medical offices, that creates a breach. And you would be surprised at how many doctors' offices, how many patient data items they have. Like just a small family doctor that I work with, eye doctor, has over 26,000 patient. 26,000. HIPAA, OCR, Office of Civil Rights, will come in and do an audit if they find your data on the dark web. They'll come in, they'll audit, and that's 26,000. They can charge you $5 or they can charge you $5,000 per item, per patient. So imagine 26,000 times 5,000. That's the way they work is like a speeding ticket.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah, the way they work is like a speeding ticket. If you're doing everything right, like if you're driving down the street and you're driving maybe 6 miles an hour is the speed limit, and you get stopped, you're probably gonna get a warning, right? But if you're driving 30 miles an hour like your hair's on fire and you're weaving in and out of traffic, you may go to jail. Well, it's very similar with HIPAA. If you're doing everything right and you get breached, and they come in and they do the review and they're like, you really tried everything you can, they can give you a warning. But if you're not doing anything, you haven't had a risk assessment, you don't have policies and procedures, you haven't even considered the word HIPAA, then you're probably going to see that $5,000 per.
I never heard anything like that. I did not know that.
Yeah,
even out there.
And we don't. Obviously, I'm not an attorney. I can't give legal advice, but I can give medical offices the best practices, framework for staying out of trouble with HIPAA. So, I've read statutes.
Better choice.
That's a better choice. A better choice. Yeah. So.
Thank you. That's very cool.
Yeah, sorry.
It's something you don't even think about. It's something you don't think about.
Yeah, you've got plenty of IT guys out there that they can do cabling great, they can fix the computer great, and we can do all that too. We can do all of that as well.
That's just the infrastructure.
But
what goes across that infrastructure?
Right, but we think, we work locally, but we think globally. What are the challenges and how do we face those challenges? So once ransomware evolved so that now they can release your data, we had to switch from recovering from backup to now we have to prevent you from getting it.
Yeah.
And now if I sit down with a client and they're like Alex, and he's like, hey, I just want my computer to work okay. All right, great, we'll give you backup, and we'll get you antivirus and we'll get you some other things. You may not have the same needs as somebody like a doctor's office. We sit down with the doctor's office like, hey, yes, we're going to get you back and we're going to get you all these other things, but we're also going to have to do a higher level of security to prevent you from ever getting it in the first place.
That's right. Prevent it from the future.
Yeah, so it's very tailored. So like if you ask me for a price, I'd be like, it really largely depends on who we're working with, So
yeah, and the
it's
problem,
almost like any insurance too. It's prevention first. You don't have to really need it, but it's there if it ever needs to be done.
Started out reactive, now you're proactive.
Right.
Yeah,
it's better than cyber insurance. It's just getting it done so it doesn't even have to be done.
One of the real scary things too about cyber insurance is if you don't have certain guidelines in place, they're never going to pay out in the first place. If nobody reads terms and conditions.
They just accept it.
If you would read the terms and conditions, if you took the time to read it, it would say in there, you have to have these items in place, and very few people will reach those levels. So they're like, oh, so then that gives them an out when you get in trouble.
And they do that on purpose, I find.
Of course they do.
The insurance companies, they know you're not going to read it, and they exploit that.
Right.
And if you had the terms to begin with, you probably would never have gotten.
Yeah, if you have all the security in the first place,
we wouldn't need the insurance.
You don't need the insurance. You should always have it.
As a backup.
You should always have it.
It's like buying car insurance, but I never drive.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
Alex, tell me. I know that you guys have got a lot of merchandise, or some really nice merchandise down at Scout and Tag. What are some of the different things that you guys have designed?
So the new things we're actually doing for Scout and Tag are we're doing a lot of personalized stuff through them. So they saw a lot of the things we were doing on our own with, the branded like coasters and magnets and stuff like that for everybody. So we're doing for them personalized charcuterie boards.
Oh, my wife would love that.
Yeah, so especially with Mother's Day coming up soon. Not sure if this is released before or after Mother's Day, I guess we'll see, but If that's the case, at least weddings, birthdays, Christmas coming up. Realtors, I know it's a big thing with them, with a lot of personalized things that happen. We also have, which is one of your favorites, the Lakeland 3D map that we have at Scout and Tag.
Yeah.
You always like pointing out your house.
Yeah, you guys
on the
did
map.
You did that on the pillow. You did it on a couple other things.
Yep, we do that. So we also do personalized maps. So we've recently done one for even like a person that came in from England. So we found his cities in England, did like a map for them.
Oh, wow.
So it's basically a 3-layered laser cut and engraved map with like, if there's any bodies of water, bodies of land, the streets, different kind of landmarks like that, with a nice acrylic top over it so you can kind of hang it on the wall. So you can either do, a lot of people like to do their hometown, or they'll do Lakeland, just maybe like put a star or something where their house is. Or again, really anywhere in the country we can kind of make, it's the beauty of having a very artistic and creative wife.
Anything you can imagine.
Because she can make most things happen. The thing she always likes to say is, I like creating it, I don't like doing it. Especially doing it over and over.
That's me. I'm a idea guy. I got a million ideas, but I don't want to do it.
Yeah. So luckily I'm the doer. So I mean, she has an idea and I kind of run with it. So with Scout and Tag we have plenty of things. We have,
I know the Florida thing with the wine caps.
that's their big sellers.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, so it's basically a wall sign. It's cut like the state of Florida, and then it has either holes for bottle caps or holes for corks. So that way you can either do, just your favorite ones, or you can kind of have certain ones for certain times. Like we have a monthly friend, group that comes over and drinks some wine. Let's put all our wines in there, wine and cheese parties. Of course, you can do soda, beer, whatever else kind of bottle caps you can do. What we had done with the one at home is we try to have, a bottle cap from all 50 states, from different breweries we go to, or wineries for the corks and things like that. Christmas is usually our biggest time. We probably make half of our stuff during Christmas. Because anything from, we can make crystal and glass ornaments personalized, whether it's like pictures or sayings or anything.
And by the way, if you guys got one of our ornaments from this last year, or during Valentine's Day, they came from Kreilich Creations.
Yes, so a lot of those were the wood ones I think that we had done,
Yeah.
and you guys kind of painted. So we're getting into a lot more of the personalized stuff now too, whether it's with Scout and Tag or with other people. And again, with me being a woodworker, I can also create pretty much anything custom as far as that goes too. We're working with Lugo's Craft Distillery. If you're into any sort of spirits and you haven't been to Lugo's Craft Distillery, I'm giving a shout out on this one.
Yes.
Phenomenal. They're actually redoing their lounge now to actually have a lot more people come in because it's getting so popular.
Wow.
But we do all of their merchandise. We're doing a lot more fun stuff with them too, as far as actual, furniture style pieces and different things like that. So
No matter what your collection is, you'll find a way to make it look nice, create whatever people want. Like I've been collecting Pepsi memorabilia. I'm a Pepsi collector. I know it's weird. But putting stuff on the walls and organizing it and making it look nice and putting the family name or whatever you want. There's nothing you guys can't do, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I know with how everyone from Scout and Tag always says, if you put a swan on it, somebody's gonna like it and buy it here in Lakeland. So that's what we kind of do, is we kind of look and see what can we do that people would actually like, and then what kind of would they like personalized, or what else would they like kind of on top of that. So our Instagram and Facebook is usually the easiest thing to kind of see what we're doing. This is our second jobs basically, but again, my wife and I mostly work from home, so it's kind of a matter of, if we have a project to do, we'll just answer emails and stuff during the day if we need to do something, or again, kind of evenings and weekends. I mean, it's something we would do anyway. That's the thing. I'm always in the shop tinkering with something. So if it's actually going towards a good cause like that, it works out really well.
That's nice, yeah. Because eventually you hope to retire from your regular job, if you will. And if this is already in place and you're enjoying what you're doing, it's just a nice, smooth transition.
I always joke with my wife, I'm like, we already have a kind of a second job, and we live in Florida. It's like we're ready to retire at any time at this point. So, there's not much we have to change as far as all that goes. So.
And how's your pricing structure, if you don't mind?
Yeah.
Just on a per piece?
So it's a per piece. With a lot of stuff we do, especially when it comes to laser work, it's a matter of how much time does that laser take to make the logo. There are some logos that are a little bit more complicated than others. Is it a custom shape that has to be cut out, or is it something I can do on the saw, or does it have to be laser cut where it's something a little bit more detailed? And then besides that, it's kind of just, we look for as cheap as we can buy it and then pass the savings on to the
That's
customer.
awesome.
So some recent stuff we've done, we did some one-off signs for both Ethos and Lugos. And then they're like, we kind of like these so much, how much can we make more? I could pretty much half the price by just them being able to buy 8 instead of 1. Because I can then buy them in bulk, make it a little bit easier as far as that goes. And I can also make more on the laser. Instead of 1, I can make 3 or 4 at a time. So it kind of saves a lot of time and energy that way.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with my products, and I've come to you at the last minute, and you fulfilled that at the last minute too. I should probably promote that, but I know you guys do it at the last minute for me too.
There's a difference between charging for, hey, I have a month to get this done versus, oh, okay, it's got to be a little extra because I got to have this done tonight.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I know what a lot of people like here recently too is, especially being a local business, which you kind of said earlier, as far as you can be there in 30 minutes or anything like that, is I'll use Scout and Tag as an example. This past Christmas, the person or the company that they usually order from before Christmas, of course, they have to order a certain amount, and then once they're out of that, it might take another month for them to get it in. So they sold out of a lot of things for Christmas because it was a big Christmas rush. They basically came to us, it's like, what all can you make? How fast can it get here? And so we were constantly making stuff for them to replenish their supply. And we've noticed that's the way it is with a lot of places around here, that they're not used to being able to have something that quickly. And especially if they just need a few of this or a few of that. Or we also are recently working with Keel Farms. That's probably the most outside of Lakeland we've gotten at this point. But they're starting to rebrand a lot of their stuff to make it look a lot more uniform, a lot more modern than what they have now. So they like working with us kind of the same way. As they have an idea, I come up with a prototype, they check it out for a bit, we might change a few things here and there. But if you had to order, let's say, 100 flight paddles for their wine and beer and stuff from a company, that's all you can do. If it doesn't work, you might be able to send it back, you might not.
Mm-hmm.
But with local places, you can keep working with them until you get the exact design you want, and then the upkeep with that and the maintenance. You know where I live.
Sure.
I mean,
You'll answer the phone if they call.
We've met for coffee.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It's one of those where you know the person you're buying it from. It's much easier to work with people like that when you know the person.
Mm-hmm.
And also whenever it's a person instead of just a business. That's kind of why we put our name into the business name, because it's us. It's not just you're buying from a branding business. You're buying from us as a family.
There's thought and caring put behind the product. Absolutely.
Exactly.
That's why I love so much about it. Absolutely. David, how about your pricing structure? Do you have any special services that you offer? What is your first?
I have clients that pay me as little as $20 a month for backup, and that's all they really needed. And then I have clients that pay thousands of dollars a month because we're covering almost 100 of their computers, and we're providing them with all of our services, voice over IP, phone service, and backup, and antivirus and security and all other stuff. So it really, like I said, it really depends on what the client's needs are as to what the cost is going to be. And we sit down. What we find is that we've saved a lot of people, a lot of clients, a lot of money. We've had at least half a dozen clients that have come to us that were paying outrageous amounts of money for their IT provider and couldn't even get them to respond.
Wow.
And
Is that in the contract that you can cancel because they're not serviced? Can you just say, okay,
yeah,
don't bother coming back?
I don't believe in locking anybody down to any kind of long-term contract. There are certain things that I have to I have to do because I have vendors that require us to, pay out of our pocket if we have a client that is locked into something, like there are certain backup products and stuff like that may require like a 2 or 3 year contract. But for our services, in most cases, either that'll be transferable or we will help them get out of that contract, or we'll take the device and we'll move it to somebody else. So the long story short is I don't believe in long-term. You should earn it every month. And if you're not earning it every month, if you're just locking them into a contract, they're not going to be happy. You're not going to be happy, So people are going to do what people do. But what we found is that, for instance, one of our clients was paying like $11,000 a month. $11,000 a month for it's a big corporation for their IT environment. And when they would call their provider, they would never come on site. So then they were turning around and they were paying us every month or 2 months to come out and do their project work. And they were paying us like $2,500 a month on top of it. And I'm like, look, we can do all of this for you. And so they hired us to do that, and now we saved them a lot of money.
8 or 9 grand.
Yeah, 8 or 9 grand a month. So.
Wow. Yeah, if you've done any business with me, Alex, I don't like contracts. I'm going on your word, my word.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's old fashioned, if it's what. I don't know if I want to save money from lawyers.
Well, so
I trust what you say, and you do what you say.
Right. We have with an IT environment, we do recommend contracts, but our contract is not one that locks you in. You have a 30-day. You could say, "Hey, Dave, this isn't working for me. Send me an email. I want to cancel service," and it's a 30-day.
Right.
That's all. 30-day notice is all we ask for, and you can cancel service. A contract for IT services is about what I'm going to provide to you, what I expect from you back. Like, hey, I'm going to bill you out on this date every month, and then I want you to be paying me back within this amount of time.
Sure.
And that can be negotiated somewhat beforehand, but all of these things have to be put in place when you're in this kind of an environment. And if you're working with somebody who doesn't have you review a contract, then you're probably going to end up either being very frustrated, right, or they are going to be very frustrated.
Yeah, I don't work with sensitive information of people's
right,
private stuff. It's little old Donnie Burns who has this little video website.
Sure.
And it just links to other websites. So mine I don't need, but I don't care for if I don't have to.
Right.
I always noticed if there's a contract involved, it basically means I don't want you to think about what I'm doing because it's just automatically coming out of your bank account to pay me. I don't, because it's like we had talked about previously. It's the old Columbia House 50 cents CD thing.
Back in the day.
Yeah, it's like how many people are going to call them the next month and not pay the $20 automatic fee to cancel their contract? Yeah. So I mean, it's one of those where the month to month is always what I've always liked too, because there's certain things that you're going to get cheaper by spreading it out, but if you're going to put the work in and do a good job, you'd rather not think about it because it's such a good job, rather than think about how do I cancel this because it's not a good job, and just kind of keep not doing it as far as that goes. So.
Well, I won't name names, but think about your internet service provider. We have, in Lakeland, most of us have 2 options. Mm-hmm. We have one option, they require a contract, and it's usually a 2-year commitment. And you have another option that is month to month. I'm not saying names because I'm not going to get sued. But I'm sure people can guess.
Sure.
And it's a very expensive undertaking to bring internet to your house or to your building, to your business. It's a lot of upfront cost. So they're going to make their money by having you stay on service over the long term. So if you have the contractual group, though, and you have problems with the internet delivery, and they're like, well, we've got you under contract for 2 years, they're going to be less likely to come out and fix the issue than the company that wants to earn your business every month. So that's not a recommendation of which way to go. It's only our insight.
It's something to think about.
Something to think about when you're making a choice between internet service providers.
Yeah, I believe that, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
That's all right.
You believe in everything.
Oh, yeah. this wonderful life we have. We're enjoying it all, right?
We're very lucky, back on the internet service provider, we're very lucky because we are, there are not a lot of areas in the United States that have a choice.
Oh, that brought my wife out. Thank you.
There are not a lot of areas, like they're monopolies in a lot of areas across the United States. You either get one or you get the other, and you don't have a choice. I know you've seen me do the presentation on 5G before, and 5G will be a game changer for that because that brings your mobile phone service into that whole conversation. So if you don't have another option, you can go to your phone service and they can provide you with pretty reliable and high-speed internet, and that's a competitor for your cable company.
I never even thought. I know that's true.
Which drives prices down. Competition's good, right?
Right,
Drives prices
absolutely.
down. It sparks innovation, things like that. So.
I went into a store yesterday with my family, and I mean, immediately when I walked in, I lost all service. Do they put jammers in these department stores to prevent me? Because I had to literally walk outside, go back into my car, turn the air conditioner on to play on the internet while my wife was shopping. I swear to God, I believe that they're putting jammers. As soon as you walk in the door, you can't go compare prices nowhere else. We got you. Do they do that?
I can't say they do or they don't. I don't believe so.
A lot of it's the building.
I think it's a lot of it is the building.
Okay.
Yeah, but then you go in there and it's like, oh well, if I want internet, I can connect to their free internet,
Right.
where I can get maybe a discount. I know
They throttle that stuff.
Well, but still, as an IT company, I will tell you, don't connect to their internet.
Okay.
Don't connect to, if you are going to connect to free internet, that's not password protected, things like that, which we don't recommend, but if you're gonna do that, don't do anything financial. Don't do anything that's going to require a password. Don't log into your bank to see how much you have before you buy that Kohl's purchase.
Are you serious?
Absolutely, because it may not even be, like, there are devices that I can walk into any store. So let's say, I don't know, just as an example, let's say Kohl's.
Speak of the devil.
I love Kohl's.
That's where I was at yesterday.
You save
I
a lot of money at Kohl's. I'm not getting anything from Kohl's, but anyway, so you save a lot of money at Kohl's. You walk into Kohl's, you're like, connect to their internet. Oh, if you 20% off if you're on their internet, right? So here's a code. But you do that. But do I have enough money to do this? So you log into your bank account. Well, I can walk in, or a hacker can walk in with a device in their backpack or whatever, and they can transmit a Wi-Fi SSID that says Kohl's Wi-Fi. And then you connect to that, and they can sit there with a computer or their phone, and they can see everything you're typing in.
So when I open up the app on my bank account, and I put in my login, I put in my password, that app doesn't immediately encrypt it before it goes to the Wi-Fi?
Well, first of all, if you're connecting to the device that I wouldn't do this, I'm not doing this, I'm not saying that the hacker would bring in, you're not connecting to Kohl's Wi-Fi, number one, you're connecting to their Wi-Fi.
Okay, but still, if it's encrypted.
And everything, you're
Not at that point.
They're not encrypted.
My app does not encrypt it first?
I don't know, it depends. I don't know.
Can't they,
Some apps don't.
Can't they read what you're typing?
Yes,
Is that
there's
the idea?
keyloggers, they can read everything.
Now that I
everything.
understand.
Keyloggers, they can sit there and read everything that you type.
But if you have like the fingerprint ID,
That would be better. Yeah, that would be better.
Or
But
maybe like a password, what do they call it, the pass keys?
two-factor authentication,
Yes,
or
2FA.
yeah, any of that stuff would help. But yeah, we just recommend don't connect to public.
I'm glad you
Wi-Fi.
said that because I never even thought about that. I was like,
Well, I mean, public Wi-Fi is everywhere too. I mean,
Right.
when you go check into a hotel, you get their Wi-Fi. You don't know what.
I know I've used it.
Yeah, of course. You don't know what security features they've taken. Most of them are going to be as inexpensive as possible to save money, right? So you don't know what kind of what measures they've taken to protect anything that you put in. So the safest way is not to connect to Wi-Fi. If you're going to be out and you need to do something, I mean, obviously you can't use a hotspot inside those stores that you can't get a cell phone signal, but try to prevent as much as possible connecting to public Wi-Fi.
I'm glad you told me that because I took it for granted that I can use any public Wi-Fi, no problem. And if I'm going on the browser and I type in I am Lakeland and they find out, oh, I don't give a hoot. But if I open my application to my bank account, I put my password in, I took it for granted they're going to encrypt it. That's why the little black dots come up because even we don't even know what you typed in.
Right.
Before they send it to the Wi-Fi.
But if they can see your screen,
Yeah, that's different. And that's where
Yeah.
where you're underneath. Well, I'm glad you told me that.
There's a lot
partner.
of things. There's a lot of really.
That's probably the best tip you got, right? Is that
No.
really, what's the best tip you got?
I've got a
Is there
million.
another one? Give me one
Oh,
more.
so there's a lot of good ones.
Well, I know one of them you liked that you heard, and because I know it because I've heard it from other people, so it got passed around quite a bit. Is backing up to your USB drive, your thumb drives, your flash drives, and even some of your portable hard drives. You know, everybody, the 90s, you know, people were like, hey, I got to back up. Well, we didn't really have great or reliable or fast internet back then. So cloud backup options weren't as much of an option. So people were like, oh, I have to back up. So, I mean, I go back.
3.25-inch disc.
Yeah,
remember those?
yeah, but the little floppy disks, and even before that, the 5 1/4. The
I
big
remember.
ones.
I put when I bought my first computer, I had Windows 3.0, and it came with the 4.5 or what is it, 6 1/4 inch,
Yeah.
and we had to install it ourselves. 3.0 Windows.
Listen, I don't feel like I'm this old, but I go back even to the police department when we had the big old wheel of tape that would back stuff up on the tape. You know,
Oh, magnetic,
Yeah, the
the old
magnetic,
cassette
yeah.
stuff.
the
Oh,
old-
okay,
no,
yeah.
no, not, yeah, it was,
Yeah, I
it was
remember.
huge.
I remember the old cassette tapes too.
You're not talking about
Yes.
the freaking 7mm.
The
Yeah.
ones you
The
see,
ones you
back
see in the 60s?
Yeah, the sci-fi computers.
No, I'm
You've
saying-
seen that?
I've seen that.
I've
yeah,
only
of course.
seen that.
Of course. So anyway, we have progressed now with the speed of the internet and how it's only going to get better. The reliability of the internet. It happens so incrementally over time that people don't realize how far we've come. You know, in just the last 15 years. But you know, people that are backing up on a flash drive, USB little thumb drive, like, oh, well, I just backed it up on that. You know, well, okay, what happens? You take that thumb drive and you put all your pictures on it. And you're like, okay, it's backed up, it's safe.
Mine are SSDs. I've got
Right.
the SSDs.
And you toss it into a drawer, right? Well, so those are reliant, because it's flash memory, those are reliant on a small charge to keep them, keep that data. If that battery that's in that little flash drive dies, your data's gone. That's flash memory.
They can't
You
charge
can't-
it.
Well, so the idea is you plug it back in every so often and it recharges that battery, right? But the batteries fail. I mean, we all know that
Oh, yeah.
even rechargeable
I've had
batteries
those
fail.
little
Or it gets
USBs
might be
quit.
corrupted
Or it gets
somehow.
corrupted,
That's right.
or the battery dies entirely. And with flash memory, once that charge is gone, it loses everything. So you put it in a drawer. 2 years later, you go to get your pictures out. Click, it's gone. So you know, put it on the cloud. It's not that expensive anymore. I mean, years ago, yes, and it depends on how much space you need. You're renting real estate on the cloud. You know, so depending on how much space you need, you know, you can back stuff up for as little as $20 a month.
Oh yeah, I use Dropbox for
Yeah.
my reels and all my video and pictures and stuff like that. I use Dropbox, and I used Google for a while, Google Photos, and then I've used Apple Photos.
Yeah.
But now I put my heart and soul into the terabyte, 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes of SSD. So I import everything into my Mac photos, and then put it all on my SSD. But I hope that when I plug that in, you know, it's keeping that battery charged, but you don't know. You really don't.
SSDs fail too. Everything has a failure rate. And you know, the standard is to recommend that you have it in more than one place. You know, so and I'm not saying like, you know, a little, maybe the drive's great and it works for you and all that stuff. Just know that it might be better to also have
I agree.
another option.
Absolutely, yes.
So
Well,
Especially as many pictures, I'm sure you probably have done.
dude, you would not. If I told you, I have over 60,000 images. I don't know how many videos, but I took, you know, over the years, my grandparents passed away, and they had boxes of photos. And when I retired in 2017, I said, what am I going to do? And for 2 years, I did family research, my ancestry. I went to Scotland, researched my people. I did all of this ancestry.com stuff. I studied money for 2 years, and I scanned in every image I've ever had. And I bought one of those little scanner things. You just put your little thing in, scanned it, put it in the memory, scanned it. So I've got over 60,000 photos now. I haven't got them organized, and the Apple does facial recognition. It organizes them all by face, so I don't have to do a lot of, you know, they call it bastard bastardized photos. When you got a picture of someone from the 30s or 40s, but nobody wrote their name down.
Right.
Nobody knows who they are. It's like, oh man. But I still scan it in. Maybe one day when they scan the face, because they're getting really good, we'll be able to know who that person was, even through lineage. So it's I'm a picture person. If you guys haven't seen,
You put that on Ancestry.com?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you go to Ancestry. It's really
Yeah,
cool.
so Ancestry is basically like a cloud, you know, they have
Match
their own,
everything up.
yeah. And, you know, so at least it's there. You have it somewhere. As long as you keep paying your subscription fee to Ancestry.com, it'll be
Yeah.
there. But let's assume for a moment that your hard drives have failed and you go tomorrow and you sit down at your computer and the only thing you have, all those pictures and everything else are on your computer and they're encrypted.
Dude, that thought is just
And
scary as hell.
you have a pop-up on your screen that says you'll pay, you know, if you pay us, I don't know, $1,000, would you pay it?
Hell yes, I'd pay it.
Okay, what
Without
about
hesitation.
$10,000?
I don't have it. I'd have to.
What about $100,000?
I can't. No way.
Right. So that's what we want to prevent. First of all, I want to prevent you ever having to pay even $1,000. I don't want you to pay
I agree.
$100 because what we do when we send that money over, first of all, we don't know who we're sending
You're
it to.
encouraging them.
We're encouraging them. We're arming them with the resources that they need to attack the next guy. And the money that they're getting isn't exactly going to like things that are pro-US. They're not going to things like, you know, often it ends up doing things like, you know, child pornography, other illegal things. When you're negotiating or when you're actually offering this money, you're paying a criminal. We don't ever want to see that.
Yeah.
So if we take the money out of it, hopefully we can reduce it.
And it doesn't matter where you're at in the world.
No.
You can be in Europe. You can be in China. The people are the good people. Most people are good people. It's those few freaking people that want to try to scan the system, get ahead, and
The cop in me says it's about 15 to 20%.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's about 15% of the people that are not the best of people
Yeah.
out there, and that's a big number if you think about it.
Of course.
You know, but the difference between them being in the United States or in, you know, pro-U.S. countries is that the FBI can reach them. You know, if we have an extradition treaty with a country, then we can at least get to them and we can charge them. In countries like China, Iraq, you know, North Korea, which we know they're doing it, in those countries, best we can do is the FBI goes, we know you're doing it, stop it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You know, hey, we indicted them. We're never gonna,
Yeah, that's
never
right.
gonna be able to arrest them.
Resources and
Yeah.
yeah, I agree 100%. So prevention.
Prevention is
What's
key.
that? What's that old? There's an old saying: an inch worth of prevention is worth a yardstick of failure.
Of cure.
A cure. Yeah. That's it. You got anything else, sir? I appreciate your guys' time. How can people get in contact with you, Alex?
So Facebook or Instagram, it's Kreilich Creations, Krylick. It's a play from my actual German name.
I know the cry and the tongue.
Yep. Yeah. So our logo kind of like that. So yeah. So nobody can spell or pronounce my actual name, but it's pronounced Kreilich when you actually see it. Creations at Instagram or Facebook.
Fantastic.
Or if you're following I Am Lakeland, I'm sure you can find it.
I highly recommend you guys going to Kreilich Crazy. Yes, I do my service. And David,
I'm gonna check them out too.
Absolutely. And the promotional stuff, you know, even if you get something as small as it really stands out. I give them out to my guests a lot of times, and they love them. They come back for more. I'm like, oh my.
Also,
must hit
gifts, like
something.
gifts, by the way. This isn't just businesses and everything else. A lot of our business sales turn into also, I have a wedding coming up. Can you do like a cutting board with their, you know, family name on it, or can you do other stuff? So the business side also turns into the personal side, because anything like that you can make that really stands out from other things that people are getting.
That's right.
Kind of makes you look a little bit better.
Yeah, because just like all of us, we all had other jobs, and then you got your personal side too. We're all consumers, and we're all business.
Yeah.
And how can people get in contact with you, David?
Well, I know I throw a lot at everybody, so I know it's kind of confusing.
I
so-
appreciate it because you told me something I didn't know.
Yeah, if you want to get in touch with us, then you can. We're on. You know, we have our website. We're on Facebook. I'm not really a big social media guy, but you know, I throw some stuff on Facebook. It's facebook.com abcnetfl, A Better Choice Net, Florida. So abcnetfl, and then our website is abcnetfl.com. And anybody can reach out to us. I mean, all this stuff can be really frustrating. You know, makes you want to curse, right? And it's like, geez. And you know, I always say, make a better choice. We'll take the SH out of your IT.
Take your SH out of your IT. We all love that one. That one. Any phone numbers? Anything else you guys want to throw out? Any more? You guys want to hit anybody else out? I appreciate your time.
Well, thank you for hosting,
Absolutely.
and thanks to Cohatch. This is a wonderful location. For
Yes,
for
Cohatch.
putting this together. Having this location for this, and and thanks Alex, because it was a real pleasure.